winner of the New Jersey Press Association's Most Innovative Award.
Welcome back to Greater Media Broadcast News. I'm Susie Shea, bringing you the top headlines in Central New Jersey. Here's what's going on in your neighborhood. Turning lives around, accelerators, saving a school, connecting cultures, and here comes the Councilwoman. March is Women's History Month, and as we celebrate the significant contributions and triumphs of women past and present, we must take a minute to remember the women who are struggling. One of the major issues women face today is domestic and sexual abuse. But in Central New Jersey, victims will soon have a safe haven where they can get the help that they need. The nonprofit 180 Turning Lives Around has launched a $7 million capital campaign to build a new shelter facility in Monmouth County. The group has helped more than 400 adult victims and 500 children in the past 5 years, but due to limited space and resources, they've had to turn away just as many. Thanks to support from local organizations and donors, more than 3/4 of the campaign goal has already been raised, and the new facility may soon become a reality. For more on this story, see your Greater Media newspaper today. And here's Mark Rosman with more headlines.
The fate of one of Freehold Borough's most notable historic structures could be decided in the near future. The local bank that owns the building at the corner of Hudson and Bennett Streets has filed an application to demolish the building, which was built in 1908. The application has been denied by the Freehold Borough Historic Preservation Commission, but that panel may not have the final say in the matter. The 107-year-old red brick building was the first Freehold high school. It later became an intermediate school, and finally, it served as the headquarters for the Freehold Borough Police Department. The building has now been vacant for about 13 years. Municipal officials had envisioned a new life for the building as a performing arts center, condominium apartments, or offices, but those plans never materialized. Time and harsh winters have now taken a toll on the structure. The bank that owns the building may appeal the Historic Preservation Commission's denial in court and could gain the right to demolish the landmark. One member of the Historic Preservation Commission has said this is an example of demolition by neglect. For a full report, see this week's news transcript.
Art can act as a bridge between different cultures, even if a country is halfway across the world. Adam Mujako reports.
Monroe artist paintings are bringing the flavor of Kenyan tribal culture to the Zimmerli Art Museum in New Brunswick. Nancy Gunkelman first traveled to Kenya in 1970 as a volunteer in the Peace Corps, where she found what she called an artist's dream. The more than 48 tribes, each with their own traditions and customs, captivated Gunkelman, who created the paintings to reflect their unique ways of life. 8 large oil paintings and several dozen watercolors are on display at the exhibit. The watercolors, which are more recent works, illustrate the influence of technology on tribal culture and the modernization of Kenyan rural life. The chief aim of Gunkelman's art is to demonstrate to Americans how different the lifestyles are, while preserving and showcasing what she said was a rich culture which is too often overlooked. Gunkelman's experiences in Kenya led her to travel throughout the world, volunteering her efforts and drawing inspiration from the various populations she became acquainted with. The artist's exhibit will be on display at the Zimmerli Art Museum through March 28th. For more on Gunkelman and her artwork, see this week's East Brunswick Sentinel.
And here are the headlines you need to know. A divide between a borough's police department and its Spanish-speaking residents has been bridged. In Red Bank, a meeting was held to encourage dialogue between law enforcement and the borough's Hispanic population. The event addressed concerns about documentation and overcrowding. The operator of the Fort Monmouth Marina has agreed to correct 3 violations cited by the DEP within the coming months. These violations involved a set of docks, a bulkhead, and an enclosed deck that were not properly permitted. In just 1 month, leading thinkers will congregate at Monmouth University for the 3rd annual TEDx Navasink Conference. The April 11th event will feature a Pulitzer Prize winner, computer scientists, researchers, and artists. This year's theme is Accelerators, or the change agents that are shaping the future. The financially strapped Mater Dei Preparatory School in Middletown has raised almost half of its $1 million goal to keep the school open. The establishment may transition into a private school under a plan being considered by the SARES Fund, a group working to save the school. For more on these stories, see your Greater Media newspaper today. And here's Mike Pavlichko of Greater Media's WCTC with an update on Rutgers basketball. After that, we have Tim Moores with more on the local sports scene.
Well, the Rutgers women's basketball team has suffered a serious blow, not to their chances of making the NCAA tournament. For that, they're a lock, although their quarterfinal exit from the Big Ten tournament a week ago could cost them a top 16 seed and home games in the first two rounds. No, their chances of a deep run could be hurt by two injuries they suffered a week ago in the Big Ten tournament loss. First, Rachel Holloway. She had just come back from a groin injury, which can be a tricky thing for athletes anyway, and went down with what looked like a knee injury. Rutgers hung in, but then the heart and soul of their defense, Syessence Davis, who's now the all-time steals leader at Rutgers, men or women, went down with what looked like a similar injury. Nothing definitive in terms of their seasons being over or that they'll be able to come back. There's been no word from the Stringer camp as to those injuries. But if Rutgers is going to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament, they'll need at least one, maybe both of them. I'm Mike Pavlichko on 1450 WCTC and WCTCAM.com.
It's mid-January, a time when temperatures are falling outside and inside basketball divisional races in the Shore Conference are heating up. In A North, as the boys' teams make the turn and head for the second half of the season, no fewer than 5 teams are within one game of each other, with Freehold Township holding down the top spot in the public school division. When the opportunity is there, Freehold Township likes to push the ball up the court in transition and score quickly, as Jason Sikowski does here, nailing his three-pointer that had the Patriot fans on their feet. Tyree Wilson, number 3, is the one Patriot who can create his own offense. Relentless full-court pressure is Township's M.O., and here it produces a steal and a resulting layup that kept the Patriots on top for much of the game. The Raiders were not averse to running themselves. Joe Sussex scores off this fast break. Hillsborough looked inside to Sussex when it was mounting its fourth quarter comeback. The inside-outside game helped set up this three-pointer by Rob Askers that put the Raiders up for good, 55-54. Asker and his teammates put the game away with the most fundamental of shots, the free throw. They sank 11 of 12 in the final 2 minutes to seal the 66-58 victory. That left Raider fans who traveled for more than an hour to the game cheering and celebrating as the unlikely winners of the state sectional championship. Tim Morris, Greater Media Newspapers.
Before a council meeting, you may find a resident handing out flyers or awaiting a proclamation. But have you ever encountered a wedding before a meeting? Here's Jeremy Grossman.
In what may be the most romantic love story ever told in a municipal building, East Brunswick Councilwoman Camille Ferraro married her partner, Jeffrey Clark, in council chambers moments before the March 10th council meeting. The marriage was officiated by Mayor David Stahl. All council members were in attendance for the ceremony, as well as several friends from the community. The couple wanted to get married in council chambers due to efficiency and not wanting to go through the work and the hassle of having a traditional wedding. Plus, Ferraro said, she wanted to celebrate the occasion with her fellow council members by her side. The boldest fashion choice of the evening was by the groom, who wore a pair of his oldest tennis shoes to symbolize how he spent his whole life running from women. He will never wear these shoes again, he said. Their love story is one that took nearly 50 years to be told. They were friends in the 60s but had their last conversation in 1973. In 2013, they reconnected and were finally able to have the love they were always meant to pursue. To learn more about the municipal wedding and the love story between Camille Ferraro and Jeffrey Clark, visit gmnews.com.
Spring is the season of rebirth, and this certainly resonates with the local cafe. Here's Taylor Lear.
After a fire completely destroyed their business, the owners of the Colonial Coffee Shop in Habel Township are excited to reopen their doors to a community who gave them an overwhelming amount of support. The Colonial Coffee Shop, located in Aldridge Plaza in Habel, reopened on March 9th after a June 2014 fire caused by a faulty cord connected to a toaster caused the business to go up in a blaze. The fire also spread to 2 neighboring businesses, including China Moon Restaurant and Red Moon Pizzeria and Restaurant, that also sustained damage, according to police reports. In the aftermath of the blaze, Paige DeLizio, daughter of owner Ellen DeLizio, teamed up with her cousins Danielle and Raquel Savas, whose parents also co-own the shop, for a t-shirt fundraiser. The girls raised $4,000, which were used for the shop's new furniture. The Delicio and Savas families said that after owning the shop for 10 years, they are coming back strong as the coffee shop is like a second home to many customers. In addition, prices as well as the menu are staying the same as before the fire. However, the family said that there will be a few surprises for customers to look out for. For more information on the coffee shop's reopening, read this week's Tri-Town News.
For more in-depth coverage and additional stories, see your Greater Media newspaper today. Keep up with the latest headlines by liking us on Facebook.com/Greater Media Broadcast News or following us on Twitter @GMediaNews. I'm Susie Shea. See you next time.